operate in love, we take action.
Because if I can do it, I promise you any of you can do it. There's no question about that.
If you want your present to be better, your future has to be bigger. What is up, Honey Badger Nation? What's up, fellas?
What's up?
Man, oh man, just having fun. Sharing shenanigans. It's always exciting around here.
Yeah, I do know that.
Oh man. What's up, everybody, man? Hope you guys are doing well. And if you got anything on your mind, anything you want to dive into, please throw it into the comments, questions, and we'll dive in any which way you guys want. So, Albie, brother, man, I know you had a credible experience over the weekend. I know, this community is really starting to plug in and having an opportunity to start to get a taste of the ice cream, right? With Coach Burt. And I know you took advantage of one of the many types of experiences that he creates. Man, I would love share some takeaways, brother.
Sure, man. It was a small group of couples that, really kind of built off of his book, Monster Producer. And Coach's Monster, that's one of his main coaching platforms. And where he came up with the word monster, a lot of times that's taken in the wrong context. It's actually like we're monsters. It's just highly driven individuals who are entrepreneurial, go after they're business owners. They go after building. They fall in love with building businesses, helping others grow, and that spirit that we all know comes with another side. Whereas we all come from love, we all come from a place that we want to give and help people and help people grow, and we also want to grow ourselves. But then there's that other side. That's what his wife wrote the book Living with a Monster, and actually living day to day with someone who's wired like we are, and who's highly focused on their business, and that their business is a very important part. And how do everyone throws the word balance around, but I won't get into it in this and that as like, oh, there's no such thing as balance. But yeah, what are the things that you can do to make sure that your spouse or significant other, however you want to position that, is in alignment with your vision of your business, and why it's important to have that alignment of vision so that you can, your relationship, one of the analogies Coach used was, you don't want your business to be the enemy of your relationship. And it was a huge, kind of a sticking point for us. Went through some cool exercises. And so it was a good experience, really great experience. In fact, so nice that I'm looking at duplicating that and bringing a series out to us called Living with a Honey Badger, and modeling what Coach did with a small group of people who, we have honey badgers out there that have spouses that are there supporting us every step of the way and everything that we do and all the crazy shit we do. How do we get them in alignment with that vision and so that they understand, how our brain works and we understand how their brain works. We dove into, the disc profile and stuff like that. So there were some cool breakthroughs. Obviously, it's a lot of the stuff that, exercises we've been through together, but then there's a lot of stuff that we haven't, that I learned too. So it was a good weekend. We were in Seaside, Florida. I recommend Seaside, Florida. I didn't know John Maroney lives down there. He's like 20 minutes from there, I guess. He hit me up after we had already left, and I didn't know he was down there. Yeah. But it's a beautiful place, all walkable, very beachy. But it was good to it's always good to get out of town into an environment of learning, to expand your mind and constantly grow. So
that's awesome. Because you said something like years ago. It's always kind of rang true. They if they don't know the plan, they can't support the plan. And That's always kind of resonated, and it carries over, in our business, but it also carries over, in the relationships, right? If they don't, like, if they ain't knowing what we got going on, they ain't no way they're going to get on board with it. And
That's right.
so I think that's a huge takeaway.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's up, Chip? So if you guys have any questions, thoughts, ideas, please throw it into the comments and we'll dive in. But, just a couple questions to throw at you guys. Here we are, we're about to wrap, first month of the fourth quarter. It's about to get even more distractions flying our way, in the next, 15, 20 days. But what would you say for everybody tuning in would be like, man, if you guys can accomplish this one big thing, it's going to have a significant impact on your business, moving into 22.
Man, I'd have to say it's your daily agent attraction habits. That's what I would say, especially going into the last 60 days of the year. A lot of the recruiting happens the next 60 days and the 60 days after that, even into the new year. So it's right there, and you're either working it or you're not working it. That's, to me, the people that I see doing it. And again, part of it is leading your people too. Right. And so, I got some guys that are doing it well, but it doesn't feel like things are moving fast. Right. 2 people in a month or 3 people in a month that's just, it feels slow in the beginning. But making sure that you're engaging your leaders and keeping them moving forward, and not, losing interest in going off and doing something else. This is the long game. So, to me, that would be it. Your habits around agent attraction.
Yeah, I love it. Albie, anything to add to that?
So, I think that there's 2 sides of the coin. We what Coach kind of talks about is fishing for bluegills or blue marlins, and kind of going back to, the experience that I had this weekend with Courtney down in Florida, was that we were in a room of blue marlins, and not all of them were. In fact, most of them were not real estate agents. But what's so cool about networking with other entrepreneurs who are not real estate agents is they all know top level real estate agents. Top level people hang out with top level people.
That's right.
And so, I ended up with a couple of referrals, and people were like, oh man, and I was lucky enough that Coach, after the day 2, there was only a 2-day deal, but after day 2, the women stayed inside, drank some wine and talked, ladies stuff. And the men went out and had a little bourbon and talked stuff. And I forgot what I was saying. Shoot.
Talk about the guys, blue marlins.
Yeah. And so we ended up like, Coach was, nice enough to be like, hey, Al, because Coach said this several times. I believe that if you're not working toward passive income, everyone will be or should be working toward a passive income at one point. And if you believe that, then your daily activities should reflect that. And even said, like, his coaching business makes a lot of money, but it's not passive. If he stops, it stops, right? So he's making deliberate moves toward that. So he wanted me to share my story, which I did. And like 2 people in there were like, dang, I need to introduce you to so-and-so, and that has got to be the easiest and getting an endorsement from someone else who's not even in the industry. They're going to hear your story through a different filter than a real estate agent or a broker will. And then when they go to tell their friend or whatever, that endorsement is pretty strong. So, that was just kind of a takeaway, is that make sure that you're running in the right circles. Make sure that you're running, I'm not saying this in a bad way, mean way. If you have an opportunity to run with a school of blue marlin or a school of bluegill, which school are you going to run with? Which one are you going to invest your time and spend your time? It's going to be the same 2 hours, 3 hours, day, whatever. I would make sure that you're deliberate about hanging with the blue marlins, because your opportunities are going to you're just going to have bigger opportunities is what it's going to boil down to.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. 100%. Right on point. So just, we hear it all the time too, guys. So what hey, I'm talking to a bunch of agents. They know about us. They know about EXP, but they're not making the move over. Like what's typically going on in that situation?
If typically it's one of three things. Either you they went back, like if you think that they were going to be coming over and that was the intent, you felt like their intent was that they were going to join, they went back to the brokerage and either had that conversation or they got offered something to stay. That can happen. So if somebody you thought's coming is sitting on the fence, that could be part of it. So you always want to tee it up as expect them to give you the short money deal of the century. And the short money deal of the century is the free, this for a year, give you the corner office, no split for a year, whatever it is, right? So you always want to prep for that, because the last thing you want is them to go there not expecting that and get offered something, and then they can't, and then they're in their mind they can't get past it. So that's one reason. I think another reason is they go back and they get busy doing real estate. They get busy, and sometimes they go dark, and it doesn't mean that they're not coming. It just means they're out there selling real estate again. And the other reason is deals under contract. They put something under, and it keeps them kind of tied to that brokerage a little bit longer. They're not working backwards from a plan. Let's pick a date, like rip the Band-Aid off. Let's pick the date and work backwards from what all do we need to accomplish between now and then. And you got to help them create that plan. If you don't, then you're just leaving it up to chance that all the reasons that they were going to join were enough. And I had a great conversation the other day with a guy that had several calls that we had with people that I felt like went really well. He felt like went really well, but they didn't actually consume the "Why Partner with Us" video, and they had consumed one of the Brent Go videos or something or whatever, and the stock wasn't enough, the revenue share opportunity wasn't enough, but the partnering with us and the things that we bring to the table that we can help them with their business is enough to tip them over the top. But they didn't see the appropriate video where they understand that what you get with partnership. And so that was my big takeaway in the conversation, was like, sometimes the biggest reason people join is who they're joining. And if they have not seen the content around who their business partners are, then oftentimes it just isn't enough. The business model just isn't compelling enough to disrupt their entire life and move brokerages. And so that's a big deal. And I used to feel like, this video works okay too. But like when you're leaning in on this partnership with all of us, it's important that they get to see the things that they're going to get access to as being partners with us. I think that's, and in the conversation, it was an aha moment for me, because I was like, man, the ones that I get off the phone with, and I'm like, man, that was a valuable call. They all had watched their partner video, the One Big Fire video. And the ones that haven't and watch something different, man, it's asking an awful lot of them to, in a 20 or 30-minute call, to believe that I'm going to be able to help them and them see kind of the substance behind all that, because they usually haven't seen it. So that's kind of my takeaway. I don't know, Al, what you would add to that.
No, real quick, Al, everything right there, right? That goes back to your whole Blue Marlin. And we've talked about it on this episode. We've talked about it in a bunch of different, settings, is that the biggest value that you get coming to EXP is aligning with us. Like, it's the community, right? Where else can you align with? Like, just look at the roster. Look at the top 100. Look at the top 200 inside of the Honey Badger Nation. Tell me you wouldn't want to partner with any of those people. It's unbelievable.
Let me add something to it. So and this is, again, I'm excited about what we're building. Y'all just trust that we're putting in the work on this with this app. It's going to be amazing. But like, one of the things that I did is, as I was trying to make the value visible, right? So like, making the value visible and showing them what they're getting access to. That's again, this some of what we're saying is a little abstract in terms of, hey, you're getting access to this and NAE and CHSA, CHBA, and boot camps and events, and like some of that stuff is hard to make the value translate to how's that going to put money in my pocket. And so I went through the interviews. I went through, John, your interviews that are in the Facebook guides in the Honey Badger group. And I just told stories of the ones I said, this one here. I was just, the headlines are doing all the selling, right? I mean, you wrote great headlines for him, but I was like, this dude here, Andrew Gaydosh, the guy literally has, when I met the guy, he had or 95 or 90% market share of all lakefront homes. He breaks down in this interview exactly how he did it. That's probably one of the most amazing videos I've ever listened to. I still talk about Julie DeRoches and the fact that she had 300 transactions and did 285 of them by referral. And my big takeaway in listening to that was that she takes, and I don't tell them the takeaways. I tell them like that. These are that you would not believe the one simple thing she does that I believe is the whole secret to her entire business. And like, so I'm selling them on the training and what they're getting access to and the partners that they're going to have. It's not just you, it's not just us, it's everything. And it's all of it together. But I saw that girl go from like, she's like, I wanted to do client parties and this, that, and the other. Like she has no idea. She has no idea how to do them. Nobody to follow as a guideline, nothing. And so I was like, yeah, this is the shortcut. Like you can try to find all these people. So we've done it all, and here's all the interviews, and you can learn from them. You're going to be partners with these folks, and it's an abundant community. And so, anyways, those are just leverage everything we have. And I find myself sometimes not doing it, but in that situation, I kept looking for things until I found what was going to be the true north for her, and it was around a couple of the opportunities that she didn't really have to do herself, didn't have a coach, but certainly saw the value in learning from others.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Al, you were gonna jump in before kind of cut you off, but just
no, just to add a different angle to it. Obviously, we are working on the fresh content to open up, just an updated video and this and that. But don't wait around for that to be done. There's tons of resources. Basically, the way, to answer your question, you're like, how do you get people off the fence that are going? The methodology behind what we've used for years, and what's cool is how Coach puts it in a little bit easier to digest context. I posted it in there. There's the fanatical follow-up system. So I would recommend everybody to go in there and watch those 4 YouTube videos, but not just watch the YouTube videos, but those are 4 assets right there that you can use to do soft touches, valuable deposits that have nothing to do with joining us at EXP or Honey Badger Nation, but that is what builds that trust. That's what builds the authority. Check out the stuff that we have. Give this, just, hey man, I saw this awesome video from our Coach Burt. I thought of you immediately. Check this out. Boom, hit him with that. That's part 1. He breaks it into like 4 different segments there that's 4 that's 4 bits of things that you can drop those things of value on your prospects. And the last thing that you ever want to do, this is proven in, by psychologists, that you never, ever want to come to somebody straight with whatever you're pitching, right? You never, ever. That's the kiss of death. Nobody, Jay, you said it. If I would have approached Jay and said, hey, Jay, what do you think about closing your brokerage up and joining this brokerage with me? Hell no. What are you, smoking crack? That's probably not for him. I know it. And I did it accidentally, to be 100% transparent. I didn't do this strategically, but it was the right way, because it was value. Then, hey man, I noticed, here's one line that you guys may want to write down that Coach said that I thought was brilliant. Hey man, I noticed that you're going pro with your real estate business, and I can't help you until you commit. So it's like, I can't help you till you commit. So when you commit, I won't let you fail. Like that's a follow-up that you give to somebody once you've already given a ton of value first. You don't come right out of the gates and with that type of a converting close. That's what you use at the end, right? At the beginning, you have to go value. And I have a lot of people that are like, well, what do I send? And we say it every month, but now I just posted just an example, like right there. Go to Jay Kinder's YouTube channel. Go to Reese's YouTube channel. Go to John Kitchen's YouTube channel. You're going to see video after video after video of value, not recruiting stuff. I'm talking about how to grow your real estate business, how to manage your schedule, how to get more time, in your business, and just use that and leverage it. It's a simple copy paste, put it on a Google sheet, and now you're stacking your ammo for your follow-up system.
Yeah. It's building those asset library, right? Until you have your own. So for example, like I was talking with, the Fosters and Scott Vosberg and their team this morning, and we were kind of talking about it, but they kicked off a podcast series and I'm like, you guys are creating your own assets now. So now you're creating your own library of what to send. And, I think that was one of the very first calls that we had with Coach. And he said right at the end, right, that last couple minutes, he said, hey, one last thing. All of y'all need to be leveraging each other and asking each other questions to create your own assets of why you did X, Y, and Z. And I was like, that, I don't know how many people caught that nugget, but that was like the takeaway of the call. And, just, it's just so important, to be able to think about that. Because as agents, man, you guys everybody's getting hit with questions every day, right? That's the they ask you answer concept. You get excited about the questions you get because now you get to create a new piece of content to answer that question. And it's that simple, right? But us monsters, right? Like try to overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing before I want to, and then I'd love you guys' take on the value add, bringing somebody to an event. But you said, and this is kind of a little mental tool for everybody listening in, is that when something happens, never take it at face value, right? That's the question that we always ask ourselves. What else could it mean? What else could it mean? Right? There goes to me. What else could it mean? And it's not something that you want to take personally, and that mentally will tear you down. And so it's just, maybe I haven't added enough value. Maybe there's something going on in their life. What else could it mean? And just don't fall into that spiral that we can tend to go down when it's not true. So I just wanted to share that because you had said that earlier, and I just think it's important for everybody listening in to have that tool in their toolbox. So on the EXP Con, the question on the invite, right? What do you offer? Hey, I'll pay your hotel, I'll pay your airfare. Like how would you, answer that question and kind of what do you recommend?
For me,
are we talking for to EXPCon or what?
Yeah. So the question is on the invite, for instance, EXPCon, what value prop do y'all offer in regards to, hey, I'll pay your airfare or your hotel or your ticket? Like what do you recommend?
Man, it depends on the size of the blue marlin. If you're talking a blue marlin, I would tend to say go all in. Because I think the lifetime value of a blue marlin is it can be extraordinary. And so, if with an average agent, I would offer to get their ticket, but I don't think I would go as deep as hotel rooms and an airfare, but certainly for a blue marlin, I would do whatever. And here's the thing: most blue marlins are going to come anyway. Like if you just give the invite, get the ticket, and say, hey, listen, I can reserve you a room if you want to come. All you got to do is get your airfare and pay for the room. They're probably going to show up. I mean, you don't need a huge offer to get a blue marlin, because generally blue marlin like to go and learn. So it's not difficult to get them to spend money, to go somewhere and learn something.
Yeah. Great point. Absolutely. Al, anything on your end?
Yeah, obviously it depends on the budget. Typically, what I would do is make sure they have some kind of skin in the game. Get them a ticket or, the hotel room. Make sure they book their own flights. Typically, don't get into that. That way you got, the ticket and the hotel room paid. All you got to do is get here. And that seems to be a nice, when we were inviting people to Dallas, that's what we did for the Build Conference. Is step one, hey, do me a favor, check your calendar. Let me know if October 18th, 19th, and 20th is open. Would you check your calendar? Oh yeah, it's open. Great. Listen, I have a ticket for you, and I got a hotel room that I can transfer in your name right now. All you needed to get there. It's going to be great. Enthusiasm, get it going. Here's what it's about. In the case of Build, Tony Robbins, we use that as the hook. Have you ever seen Tony Robbins? And so, you could use that framework to invite, but again, it's going to very much depend on your budget.
If you guys have any other questions, comments, throw it in, and we'll unpack it for you and help you guys get unstuck. So here's another question. Thought in the early days, it was, we had to overcome quite a bit. It's a little bit harder these days, but what chinks in the armor or things that, how do you need to overcome? Like somebody's going to say something right in the beginning, it was a penny stock. Well, I mean, that's not true anymore. I mean, it's climbing. So like, what would be chinks in the armor that people have been, throwing out as a potential excuse or an objection, not to want to see the model or even explore what that would look like for them?
Yeah. Coach actually touched on this, and he mentioned 3 things that people have as to why they won't make a decision. Either A, they have an assumption. B, they have bias of some kind, or prejudgment, prejudgment. Someone they know told them something about something. Bias. They're biased because they either own their own brokerage, or they've been with this brokerage so long that they're the family that there is great, or they just have an assumption that they've drawn their own conclusion based on their own assumption that's completely false. And that's kind of what he's broken down as to the 3 reasons why someone would not move forward when it just makes so much sense for them to move forward.
Man, yeah, that's oftentimes true. The first thing I would say is, if you find yourself getting objections about looking at the model, then stop talking about EXP. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, but that's just, you're not approaching them where they're at. They don't want to change brokerages. They want to go from A to B, and for them, A to B means going from selling this many homes to selling this many homes. It's so amazing how many people I talk to on the phone literally have a transaction goal and not an income goal. It still fascinates me. Like the guy that wanted to sell 100 homes, I don't think he'd even done the math on how much money that was. And that's great. I did the same thing, but people are wired to think transactionally. So, approach them where they're at. Sure, the stock is going to be, one of the things that we're working on that I think it went really well this morning. It felt like my brain was going to explode as we were doing harder work than I've been doing in a while. But just the framework of opening the gate of the mind, and what gets people thinking is the types of questions that make people think. And so as we're creating the survey, some of the questions that open the gate of the mind and make you get the wheels turning is what needs to happen before they're ever going to actually look at it with an open mind. And so thinking through all those things and the assets that we'll be able to kind of create and deliver, and you can take people through a process where it's easier to get them to open the gate of the mind is going to be super helpful, I think, and understanding the psychology of what makes someone, what's going to make them think, what should they be thinking about in their business? What are they aware of? What are they unaware of in their business? I mean, hell, more than half the people that we talk to, or more than half the people that look at the video, that's for sure, they certainly are unaware of a lot of things. They're unaware of the partnership. They're unaware of how revenue share works, and it's not really recruiting. They're unaware of the value of stock and what that could do over the course of their career. They're unaware of the benefits that that they could have by having us as their business partners. Like all of those pieces to the puzzle that they really have no knowledge of, and that's that's where you got to start with them, is understanding that they're trying to get from A to B, and don't just assume that they're going to be interested in joining a brokerage, because that's the number one mistake I think everybody still makes.
All the time. It's just math. Do the math. Chip, yeah. He projected to be 40K savings making the move, but it was 52.
Right. Yep. That's another thing. Most people do the math wrong. That's another big piece. And so helping them do the math, and a lot of times doing the math isn't just enough. That's like I said earlier with that story I was sharing. It wasn't, a lot of times it ain't enough just to save, $12,000 in what you're paying into your brokerage versus being at XP. And then the stock, well, if it goes up, it goes to nothing. Well, I don't know. And then they go back to selling real estate. But if you could have showed them you could help them go from 20 deals to 40 deals, that would have been enough for them to be excited, have that conversation, be like, I'm done, I'm leaving. There's no way I'm staying, right? Like, you got to get them that excited.
I was talking to I think Cindy on Friday, Featherstone, and she was at a high level event, real estate agent event, talking about assets and building wealth. And she, she's taking it in, right? She's a sponge. And so she's just kind of sitting there, and she ends up connecting with a few other people. And she pulled out her phone and she pulled out her stock. And she goes, "You guys are talking about building a business that has assets." Like, she goes, 25 years of owning an ERA franchise. What do I have to show for it? 1 year at EXP, over 100,000 in stock.
Right.
She goes, "That's something."
Yeah.
25 years, nothing.
Moving in the right direction.
Yep. Really powerful. You guys have anything on the partnership putting together? So it's question, do we have experience putting together a domestic partnership?
Putting together a domestic partnership? I'm not sure I'm tracking with the question.
Yeah. How's it structured?
Like a domestic team is two a spouse, two spouses, one pays a full cap, the other one just shares the other cap, and there's a reduced monthly fee to the second spouse. The first spouse pays like $85 a month. The second would pay 50, and they share the cap of 16. So that's what a domestic team would look like. I'm not sure if that's different than he's asking about a domestic partnership. I'm not sure what that is.
I'm thinking that's probably meaning, and I can't see the name, so I don't know who it is, but that maybe they're not married, so they can't do the domestic.
Yeah, him and his wife want to do this, but they haven't learned how to do it. I mean, share both buckets, and there's only one fee, is how it's set, and then it's share the same cap. So that's how it's set up. We've got quite a few.
Yeah.
The McCarthy's. There's it's how it's just set up.
I just heard of a story where someone just came in, and I know they're looking to fix this, but this is something that I think everyone should remember and learn. If you're bringing in a husband and wife, or, even if they're legally married, wife and wife, or husband and husband, however it is, you have to come into EXP as that, from what I understand. And there was a husband and wife that were looking to do that, but they came in where, let's say I sponsored the wife, and then she sponsored the husband. So it came in that way. And then they were having trouble getting this domestic team started because of that. They're supposed to come in together, basically under the same person. So it would look like with Robbie Barreau and Heather Barreau, they both are actually going as FLAs with me, but only one can be an FLQA because all the production's only going on one. Make sense?
Yep.
It should be an easily fixed thing, but it seems to be some folks up here. So just know that when you're bringing people aboard.
Yes, sir. Man. So let's give everybody kind of the skinny as we kind of wrap up, if we don't have any more questions coming in. So we are set. Coach Burt, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Mirage in Vegas on Monday, whatever that Monday is of EXPCon. And so tickets are still available. I know we had quite a few fly off the shelf pretty quick, but tickets available. So get if you guys are coming, you do not want to miss it. And Albie, you've had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with them, obviously on lives and trainings. But I know how Cuz and I were moved, the first time we got to experience them in Nashville. So if this will be your first interaction with Coach Burt, don't miss it.
Yep.
Agreed.
And it's we were talking about, if you're bringing someone to Vegas, get them there if you can. It's another value add. I don't know if we've confirmed this, Jay, but are we going to go ahead and, or maybe you already texted him? Is he going to do person of interest?
I haven't talked to him. I have a call with him this afternoon.
Okay.
DN tickets the link is inside of the Honey Badger Facebook group. So it should be pinned as an announcement, pinned up to the top. If you can't find it, just type in Coach Burt. I know Holly posted it, so it's in there. Cool. Well, fellas, appreciate y'all. Definitely taking some of my questions that I know we're always seeing and always getting hit with. So just like Coach Burt says, right? I'm gonna keep saying the same thing until you guys get it. And I know all of you ain't gonna get it, so I'm gonna keep saying the same thing.
Yeah, man.
Cool. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Let's have an awesome, powerful week. Thank you, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. See you.